Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Coteries of New York. We are starting today with continuing Hope's path, I think. I was thinking about maybe hanging around the angel a little bit more, which we might do later if we have time. But as for now, I want to, push at least one of the storylines forward very much. So we'll see if this is going to be possible with Hope. And the quest is called Double Spiral. You and Hope set out to destroy Kara Montgomery's company from the within. Interesting. Let's do it. Hope's poorly scribbled message reaches you in your haven. Within an unmarked envelope, you find a barely legible address you're supposed to reach and the hour you're expected to arrive at. This is it then, the night of the final showdown. You check the clock. There's way more than enough time to comfortably reach your destination, but you decide to take a drive earlier, just in case. The ride is uneventful, but becomes more and more tense as it goes on. The gravity of the situation starts getting to you. You're about to set out on an operation against a key New York City figure, well connected with both human and vampire allies. What if her security overwhelms you? How will the council react to your raid? I feel like we still, after the last meeting with her, we haven't actually picked side though. So even if we go deeper there, I feel like there's still going to be some kind of an event with Kara where we decide on the outcome of this whole situation. Because last time we've met with her, it was more like Kara trying to give us her perspective, which we could agree with, and then Hope giving hers. So I feel like there's still some option for decision making in here. And honestly, at this point, I don't know what my decision would be. I feel like they both have their ideas, let's say. You can only trust that Hope has thought it all through. She doesn't seem like the type who attempts a suicidal mission, which is something you typically say about the person who regularly attempts to shoot herself in the head. When you arrive at your destination, you find yourself in front of a building with a double spiral logo on it. This must be Montgomery's headquarters then. You look around the street and notice an obnoxiously lavender Mazda car parked nearby. Lavender car. That's weird. Even though you've never seen it before, you might have an idea who it belongs to. You park your own car at a distance from the double spiral building and approach the Mazda. A familiar figure is behind the wheel, holding a smartphone in her hand, as always. You knock on the window. She opens the window without turning her eyes from the device. Wow, you're early. Shouldn't you be hiding? Didn't think I'd find you right in front of the building. Don't care much for being inconspicuous? Why should I be inconspicuous? Inconspicuous. That's inconspicuous. I don't know. I'm not planning to come back alive. She lets dead silence linger in the air for 10 seconds. Then she stops typing, diverts her eyes from the screen, gives you a melancholic stare, and winks. Psych! God damn it. Come on, what's up that face? I suffer from too much FOMO to let myself die. I've got accounts to run, notifications to check. Plus, no way in hell I'd allow Montgomery the satisfaction of a draw. We're going there to secure a flawless victory. No time to wait, let's go. She gets out of the car and motions you to walk with her. Anywho, glad you managed to make sense of my ugly scribbles. I totally forgot how exhausting it is to write stuff by hand. Still not as exhausting as having to deliver messages personally to someone's door. Next time you meet Langley, ask her to get you a flip phone or something, okay? You reach the front of the building. We're about to burn the shithole down to the ground. Shouldn't we be keeping a low profile? We are. It's only the data that will go down in flames. But without data, there is no double spiral. You see, our job is easy. We need to get in, destroy the server containing all the double spiral research, and walk out. No spectacle, no dramatic showdowns. Now, I know exactly what you're going to say. But wait, Hope, if this data is so priceless, shouldn't she have external backups? Is Kara a complete dunce? Excellent question, my neonate friend. The answer is yes, she's a dunce. But aside from her numerous negative qualities, she also has a positive one. She's totally paranoid. She used to be a naive dumbass who wouldn't even cover up her laptop camera, but she lost trust in all external companies after a little cyber espionage incident. She's obsessed with not uploading her precious data anywhere online. Now she only has one physical backup, hidden deeper inside the headquarters. Nobody has an idea of where it might be, but I do. Normally, I'd never be able to reach the place. Double Spiral is like an underground base. The walls and doors are reinforced both against the living and the dead. But the answer to this problem is simple. We only need Kara to lend us her voice so that we can override all the security measures and get to the heart of the facility. What do you say, Kara? Will you help your girl out of the good old time's sake? Hope quickly writes something down on her phone. A few seconds later, a nearly perfect imitation of Kara Montgomery's voice escapes her speaker. You know it. Let's bust this bitch open. Wow! The sound quality is incredible and the voice sounds only the tiniest bit off. Whatever she paid for that tech, it was worth it. Oh, and if you're afraid of consequences from the Camarilla, don't be. I'm assuming full responsibility and my ass is covered. I've got some favors to collect and to offer. Besides, Kara's a goddamn snake and everybody knows it. No important player will miss her influence. They were only tolerating her in case she hit it big with her tech. It's all about cash in abundance. Life's a bitch and then you die. Some parts sound a tiny bit too robotic. Could there be a pattern there? Too bad she won't ever get a chance to succeed. So without further ado, shall we? Hope starts marching toward the revolving door. You close your eyes, make an effort to sharpen your senses, and follow the Malkavian into the lobby of the Double Spiral building. Sharpen your senses means heightened senses from Auspex, probably. Toreadors actually do have Auspex ability, and a lot of people wonder why. Presence is a understandable. Celerity, when you have so many claps go every night, celerity is very useful. But Auspex is actually interesting because the whole reasoning for why Toreadors have Auspex is that they are always in search for some inspiration, and that's why they do have to have these heightened senses to be able to find what they're searching for around them. There's a sole security guard at the entrance. He raises his voice to ask about your business, but is stopped short by Hope's commanding voice. No need, we're expected. The man looks lost and disoriented for a moment. Then the gears in his head slowly begin to turn, and he nods his head, suddenly opening a gate leading to the elevators. That was presence, not dominate, because, Toreadors by default don't have dominate, but also what she said out loud was not very much what the dominate would allow you to do, because dominate is more about puppeteering. So if you say no need to, it doesn't actually puppeteer anyone. You have to say leave us alone or something like that for the command to actually work. So it was more of a presence, I would say. Oh wait, she's a Malkavian, of course. They do have dominate and they don't have presence. So, well, maybe that was her the Malkavian type of dominate, which is dementation. Dementation nowadays is actually a part of dominate, so it's actually a skill within it. But they would just basically go mad at the use of it. So I don't know. I feel like it was just not very much up to the system written dominate, let's say. Hope heads into one of them and you follow. She presses a button and the car starts heading to the lowest floor. By the way, there's no music in the background. I've noticed that, but if you guys are wondering why there's no sound except for my voice, just that there's nothing there. Eventually the doors open. Welcome to Kara Montgomery's Deadly Dungeons, Lafayette. What appear before your eyes are the dimly lit corridors of an IT office, empty and silent. The air is stiff and dusty, and there's a sharp, rotten stench in the air that you're unable to identify. The menacing atmosphere makes it hard to recognize at first, but this looks like an active workplace. It really is a dungeon, although a corporate one, where people are cheated of life. This environment feels alien to you, but you know people who have relinquished the pretenses of being artists and started calling themselves content generators. That's how you imagine their workplaces. Let's just get to the first door and test my little Kara out. You follow her until you reach the end of the corridor. There you encounter an expensive-looking reinforced door with voice controls on the side. Hope pushes a button. I mean, it's supposed to be a narrator saying that, but still. Hope pushes a button. A robotic voice comes out of the speaker. Semiotics. Seriously, come on. Hope types the word into her phone and lets virtual Kara repeat the password. Semiotics. That's not Kara's voice, but that's fine. A sound rings out, reminiscent of cues that TV quiz shows used to let the contestant know he gave a wrong answer. Verification error, please try again. You give Hope a nervous look. She bites her lip and presses the button again. Hyperreal. Tap, 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 tap. Hyperreal. Access granted. The doors slowly open. You notice your companion is wearing a sour expression. Looks like the tech isn't quite perfect. At least the passwords seem randomized, so we can try and brute force our way in, unless the system locks us out after a few failed attempts. She shakes her head and turns to you, her lips attempting to approximate a sincere smile. Well, we can only hope that the data you've collected is enough. Into that beast's maw we go. She marches into the room, and you walk in right after her. The doors lock behind you with a loud thud. It's a wide-open office. It would be as murky as the corridor you just left if it wasn't for rows of monitors illuminating the space. A shadowy figure stares at every screen in the room. Kara's voice plays from Hope's speaker. Behold, this is where the magic happens. A family of driven folks hungry for success, always taking bulls by the horns, building a high-performance culture to get there. None of the figures raise their heads. They're too busy programming, organizing spreadsheets, and typing in endless strings of text. What's wrong with these guys? Don't worry, they're like just a bunch of ghouls and whatnot. Hardworking, conditioned, tireless, low maintenance, kinda dumb, perfect workers. Probably won't leave their seats unless we make them, but let's not. We've got more important things to do, like destroying a few years' worth of their work. The figures don't stop pounding away on their keyboards. In fact, they don't react to her words at all. Well, alrighty, so do we go straight to the server room, or do you want to check one of the side rooms first? Your call. I prefer to wrap things up here as fast as possible, but hey, little Kara is here with us thanks to the data you've gathered. You betcha! If you think you can use her voice to something useful, hey, feel free to do it. You look around and think how to respond. Actually, let's try this door. You approach the door with a huge sign saying staff only. Next to it, you spot the familiar voice controls. Hope nods at you and pushes the button. Vaudeville. Hope taps the screen of her phone a few times and puts the speaker next to the door's microphone. Vaudeville. Oh, we don't have V. Shit, I forgot. Verification error, access denied. You push the button again. Vaudeville. Looks like this one doesn't have a randomizer built in. Won't do us any good just to keep trying. The capital wins once again. Let's move on, comrade. That was supposed to be with Russian accent, I'm sorry. For a second you wonder if there's anything you could have done to succeed here. Yeah, so I guess this is the game telling me that if I managed to get her to say something with the V inside earlier, we would be able to get there. Then you shrug your shoulders and follow Hope out of the room. Another depressing corridor reeking of who knows what. You expect Hope to walk to the very end again, but this time she stops halfway and starts mumbling under her breath. Wait, was it this door or don't tell me she moved things around? It looks like she's been here before, not a surprise in itself, but she gives off an impression of a person who used to know the entire layout of the building very well. After a brief reflection, Hope approaches the door a few feet away and pushes the button next to it. Apocalypse. Well, that's cheery. Apocalypse. Access granted. You walk inside. At first glance, this office looks very similar to the last one you entered. Rows of screens and rows of listless silhouettes in front of them. However, Hope quickly spots a difference. Target confirmed. Moving to data room. There's a room with endless machines at the back of the open space. Hope walks in, takes out some hardware out of a bag she's carrying and begins the process of removing data. The process of removing that data. There we go. Should have invested in SSDs, sis. Time to bust out my portable degosser. She turns to you. This will take a good minute. I've got a few other tricks up my sleeve. If you find something that interests you, let me know. Do you wait near her or take a look around? I would better stay put. I'd rather stay here. Who knows what might happen? Viruses, degaussed hard drives, some plain old boring vandalism. I hope you don't expect anything breathtaking to happen here. You don't, and it doesn't. You spend most of the following 30 minutes gazing at the dead-eyed ghoul and his screen next to you. I mean, that was the wrong option, but it was a safe option. When Hope is nearly done with her digital mischief, an error message appears on the ghoul's screen. He tries to fight it for a while, but it's futile, so he just slumps down resigned. A while passes. Finally, you hear a triumphant yell. Oh, damn, baby! Looks like those boys are finally going to get a break. You realize that the constant silent rhythm of mechanical keyboards has mechanical keyboards in the office? That should be forbidden by Geneva Convention. It's horrible. I hate the sound of mechanical keyboards. I know. Don't kill me. I hate it so much. It's so loud. I have the flattest keyboard possible. I know that, there's a lot of fans of mechanical ones. My husband is one of them. And he's just like, taka, 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 taka. It's horrible. I have the flat keyboard and I love it, okay? The workers are all idling, slumped over their desks, completely resigned to the fact the raison d'etre has disappeared. Hop hurriedly collects her hardware and motions you to follow after her. Alright, we're almost done. Now we just need to take care of the backups and we can get the hell away from here. You take a last glance at the ghost and follow her steps. Yet another corridor, hardly discernible from the previous ones. This is a giant underground complex. How much money has Montgomery spent on it? Hope looks around, frowning, mumbling something indecipherable. Eventually she points in front of her. There. This is where she must keep her backups. It's a sturdy metal door unlike any other in this building. Right next to it, however, is a voice-based security system you know pretty well by now. Please, 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 just no last second surprises. She hesitates to do it, but eventually she pushes the button. Eternal return. Hope dutifully taps down the term on her phone. Eternal return. Access denied, please try again. Hope hisses under her breath. This time you push the button. Double spiral. Tap, tap, tap. Double spiral. You feel like time has frozen. For whatever reason, it takes longer than usual for the speaker to deliver the verdict. Access granted. What a relief. The metal doors grind loudly as they invite you in. This time you walk in first and Hope follows. Wait a minute. You recognize this place. It shouldn't be here, but there's no two ways about it. This is Hope's haven. Same bed, same decorations, same ambience. It's a lot more dusty, but... The backups are in the back. I'll just get him. She seems a little sheepish as she approaches the double spiral devices and unpacks her own hardware to take care of them. You take in your surroundings. Would you mind explaining what is going on here? Hope sighs. What's there to explain? Just think a little. The first explanation that pops into your head will probably be the right conclusion. She looks at you as if she was about to add something, then bites her tongue and gets back to destroying her rival's life. She makes it obvious she doesn't want to re-examine her past. You rest against the bed, quietly watching Hope's technological wizardry and wondering about her past relationship with Kara for who knows how long. Every second you spend there, you become more impatient to get out. Eventually, the devices surrounding the double spiral backup start disappearing into the bag they were taken out of. It looks like the process is nearing completion. You decide to approach the door before it does. However, before you make a move, the doors begin to make a grinding noise. You freeze up watching them open. Behind them stands the very person you were afraid would appear. That's the punk t-shirt you hoped you would avoid seeing tonight. Jesus fucking Christ Almighty. Hope raises her head and their eyes meet. Both of their faces momentarily turn to stone. Oh. You could pick out any emotion from their stares, and you'd probably be right. Love. It's Valentine's Day. Probably love. An unbearable tension fills the room as nobody wants to make the first move. Eventually, it's Hope who decides to break the stalemate by loudly pressing the enter button on her laptop and immediately dropping it into her bag. You doubt it's anything more than a provocation, the Malkavian letting her opponent know she won. But it works. The noise makes Montgomery snap out of her stupor. You psycho. You fucking demented, vindictive psycho. The air turns thick with murderous intent. Hi. Hope pretends she hasn't noticed. Kara's bloodthirst becomes palpable. You were supposed to be on the other side of the city right now. At the meeting. I am notified about every failed voice authentication attempt. I got back here expecting to find some idiots still trying to make their way through the front. She looks around. But I never expected. Just how? Hope reluctantly types something down on her phone. I'm the CEO of Double Spiral and I endorse wrecking my shit. Kara grimaces at the sound of her own voice and quickly connects the dots. You fucking Kremlin! How did you get your hands on that kind of tech? Even I! Company secrets. Hope's provoking her, there's no two ways about it. Kara knows it, so she's trying to keep it cool. I built this paradise for you. For us. For yourself and nobody else. What happened to the Hope I used to know? She can't come to phone right now. She's dead. That's reference to Taylor Swift song, isn't it? Or maybe Taylor Swift song was a reference to something else and I'm just making a fool of myself right now. I don't know. But I regret the day I let you into my life. Oh no, sire, no. Stop lying to yourself, Kara. You only regret the day you let me out of my life. Shouldn't have you let your mask sleep, honey. A snappy response almost escapes Kara's mouth, but she manages to stop herself before letting the discussion devolve into a childish spat. Just tell me there's a copy of my data you haven't ruined and I'll let you out of here alive. She gives you a hateful look. Both of you. Hope tilts her head and flashes an evil ear-to-ear grin. Not a single bit of data remains. More than a decade of your work down the drain. Welcome to the worst night of your life since the dot-com crash, Miss Montgomery. Kara looks as if a stake was just driven through her heart. She starts to collapse, sliding down against the door, like she was sinking deeper and deeper into her personal hell. Hope just stares at her torment, wearing an indecipherable expression, waiting for her rival to reach the floor. Then she does, and there, at the lowest point of her life, she finds something unexpected. I never, ever wanted to do this. This is not me. Her voice sounds completely different. But if there is only one way out of this mess, I'm going to take it. I'm going to get my data back. Hope looks confused for a second, then an understanding dawns on her. Come on, Kara, you wouldn't dare. You started this game, now accept your loss. The game isn't over until all players are out of moves, honey. Bearing your fangs now? Just two of us against one, even if you commit the sin of diablerie. Diablerie, of course. I gotta read that for you guys. The consumption of another kindred's blood to the point of the victim's final death. Vampires may not only lower their generation permanently through this abhorrent practice, but also incorporate the target's very nature and spirit into themselves. Yes and no. I mean, the biggest problem about that is that if the diablerie fails, then basically your body is taken over by the soul that's possessed the previous body. So it may fail pretty badly. And also it leaves an aura around you, an aura which gives out the fact that you are diableries to anyone on Auspex level 3 that tries to destroy your soul. And this kind of leaves you with a very huge possibility of a blood hunt. So normally after a diablerist commits a diablerie and it's not a part of the blood hunt or anything that is accepted by the Camarilla, you should probably just run away and hide for a longer time away from the kindred society. That's the only way to survive in general. And then even after that, the Tremors with their taste for blood ability, on the critical success, I believe they are able to, if they taste your blood, they are able to say that you're actually a diablerist. So it never really goes away. It always kind of lingers on you as a burden, and people may find out. So yeah, it's not very welcomed in the kindred society for obvious reasons. But if you are after a blood hunt, then sure, you can do so. The last time something like this happened to me, I was ready to die. I think I'll take my chances. It's not like I haven't dreamed about feeling my fangs inside you for a long, long time. So you want to give me this one victory? Prove once and for all I was right? It was never about me, but about all the stupid garbage in my head? A victory, please. Victories are material. They aren't like your little online arguments. She's serious about this, Lafayette. She wants to devour me as a whole, sacrifice her humanity in exchange for access to my soul and everything I know. Stay away, Lafayette. You want money, data, domain privileges, a position on a double spiral, anything you want, you can get it if you just look the other way. Don't listen to this shit. The moment the prince finds out, it's final death for... And Kara runs, her moves resembling a beast more than human, immediately closing the distance to Hope. Then she jumps at the Malkavian like a wild animal hunting her prey. Devouring your own child! Wow! Hope instinctively attempts to defend herself, but is immediately overwhelmed. Laying on the ground, she looks like a deer in the headlights. Kara, on the other hand, looks like a bear ready to maul its victim. If you want to react, you need to do it now. Shit! That's why I am mourning the lack of save option, because I really want to know what happens if you actually let her diablerize. But of course I'm not going to do that. That wouldn't be me. That wouldn't be Lafayette. So I have to intervene. Celerity. You push yourself to the limit and let your powers take over. The world slows down, letting you run up to Kara and Hope in the blink of an eye. You immediately grab Montgomery by her clothes and attempt to yank her aside. However, the moment she recognizes your touch, she immediately attempts to swat you down. Despite your superhuman speed, she's still almost as quick as you. Her limbs keep zooming wildly towards your vital areas. You dodge every one of them, but each time feels like narrowly jumping out of the way of oncoming truck. You back away. Better try something different before she gets lucky and hits you. Frenzy? Can I ride the wave? Is it even... Wow, okay. You've decided to let your instincts take over. Before you know it, you're already at the full sprint. You run up to Kara, grab her, and start pulling her away from Hope. However, you're dealing with the beast here. Choosing to trust your instincts, you underestimated hers. Before you realize what's happened, you find yourself smashed against the nearest wall. Confused and in pain, you check your torso. Some bones feel broken. You still got lucky and should be able to move around, but this will take some time to heal. Kara's already focused on attacking Hope again. Just rushing in blindly won't help. You'll need a plan. Wait. There's no point to just rushing in blindly. Kara's like a feral animal right now. You don't wrestle with those. Use tools to overwhelm them. You look at Hope's back. Could any of her devices help? No, no way in hell. Think harder. You look at the bed, the pillows, the canopy, hooks hanging down from the ceiling. Bingo. You grab one of the hooks and yank the chain. It's long enough for your idea to work. You run up to Kara, who's about to maul Hope like a wild animal. Then you stab her with all your strength. The hook gets deep underneath her skin. Kara yells, but there's more surprise and pain in her voice. You quickly wrap the chain around her a few times. Then you step back and start pulling it with all your strength. Kara's taken by surprise. Still not understanding what's going on, she loses her balance and gives her victim a chance to escape. Hope takes it. Still dazed, she takes a second to understand the situation, but when she does, she runs up to you and starts pulling the chain with you. You'd never handle her alone, but Hope displays surprising strength while pulling the chain. A minute later, she's hanging above the floor like a butcher's carcass. The end of the hook is stuck in her chest and sinking deeper as she struggles. However, she's flailing so wildly she might free herself before it puts her out of commission. You use one hand to desperately search for something that can help you under the bed. Belts, handcuffs, a whip. A giant cattle prod. You have no time to act bemusedly. You put it to her head and turn it on. The device must be modified. The power current is so powerful it causes scarring almost immediately. She's getting weaker and weaker. It takes Kara a while to accept defeat, but eventually she does. Her body seemingly lifeless, her head hanging down, she looks like a grotesque portrait of a defeat. The hook must have reached her heart. That's torpor! She's not dead yet. It takes Hope a long time to collect herself. Eventually, she manages to speak up. Guess we've gotten up to this point, huh? And she's real. She's herself. Just like Kara before, Hope starts to talk in a completely different way than she usually does. You have a bad feeling about this. You want to add my data to yours? You know, I can grant your wish, except not the way you've imagined it. Hope starts mumbling and circling around Kara. For the first time since you've met her, she acts like she doesn't have her phone in her hand. This violent aura. The Malkavian looks deeply into your eyes, and she knows you know what she's tempted to do. You suddenly beg for her not to do it. It doesn't feel right. DIABLERIE! DIABLERIE! Okay. She makes her decision. She smiles beatifically, and it feels purposefully fake. Be my witness. I haven't harmed her. You left her with me, and you have no idea what happened next. Her voice is still changed from what you're used to. She's not having fun. She's driven by malice. I've disabled security, so you're free to leave now. Call me whenever you need me. I'm a part of your coterie now, so I'll repay my debts or whatever. You give her a suspicious glare. It doesn't faze her, though. I've still got some unfinished business here. She turns to Kara's listless body. A puppet is dangling sadly by a single thread. It would be smart of you to leave. Her tone makes it clear she's not willing to discuss anything. Your relationship is strictly professional. You sigh, shrug your shoulders, and head out the way you came from. The lights of New York welcome you above ground. See you soon, Hope. Hope you don't get into trouble. You try to celebrate the new addition to your coterie, but Kara's face appears before your eyes over and over again, making your victory bittersweet. I don't think they had to kill each other. I don't think... Yeah. Let's go and visit D'Angelo. It's been a while since you heard from D'Angelo. Maybe he's busy. Oh wait, I need to rest. Because there might be another evening there. There probably will be. There's no music all this time. Ah, there we go. No D'Angelo for me. Sophie requests your presence tonight, and it seems urgent. You find her already waiting for you and clearly pondering something. It takes a few minutes of awkward silence before she speaks. I require your assistance, Lafayette. There is a matter of great importance that I need to ask you to resolve for me. You will find what I'm about to say surprising, I'm sure, but I need you to hear me out. I need you to contact an important anarch figure in New York City and arrange a meeting for us. What business do you have meeting anarchs? They're the enemies of the Camarilla, isn't that right? That is nominally true. There is much bad blood between our factions. But it's not as simple as a state of constant war. You will find that with this, as with many other things, the Camarilla's policies have more than their share of hypocrisy inherent in them. It comes hand in hand with using medieval power structures. What we are forbidden to do, the prince may do willingly. Some of these things can be done in the open, while others are kept secret as to not invite discord and discontent. I need to contact a man named Torque. He is an influential member of the movement and, like most of them, very suspicious of the Camarilla. That's why I'm sending you to extend my invitation. How do I know he'll even talk to me? He won't. Not yet, anyway. You need to start further down the chain and with the right story to spin. From my limited sources adjacent to the movement, I've gathered that your best chance to speak to Torque is to first meet with his right-hand woman, Mia. She's a regular at the club called the Leech Pit. I think it would be best if you presented yourself as an honored hopeful, a fledgling looking for a place of belonging. Only after you talk to Torque directly should you mention my name and the meeting. I don't think there's the right approach. Lying to them won't make them trust me. When they find out the truth, they won't be happy or eager to work with us. That might be true, but if you tell Mia outright that I sent you, she's likely to cut you off. She hates her sect and it will be difficult to make her listen to reason. After tonight, I suggest that we do not speak of this again until you arrange the meeting. There are many who would jump at the chance to use this against us. With Kaiser, you have proven you can get the job done, even if it requires additional legwork. I trust you to deal with this task as quickly and covertly as possible. Forgive me, but that's all the time I can spare tonight. What I'm asking of you is just part of a bigger whole. Trust me, it will all be worth it. Okay, I'll do my best. I know you will. Check with Gregory for the address of the Leech Pit. Have Mia introduce you to Torque. When she does, tell him I wish to meet. Let him pick the time and place, but let it be soon. If he proves to guard it, tell him I have something that will help him gather allies against Boss Callahan. That should pique his interest. Good luck, and obviously not a word about this to anyone else, not even any new friends you might have made in recent nights. This stays between us. The way she says that final sentence suggests a not-so-veiled threat, but her warm smile belies the impression. You want her to keep trusting you. You wouldn't want to disappoint her. Gregory gives you an address. The club is in Brooklyn. Apparently, it's some kind of a heavy metal bar with a dedicated concert space. Time to pay this Mia a visit. The place is teeming with people tonight. You arrive in the middle of a concert. The music is loud, almost deafening, and it takes you a while to get used to it. The noise hurts your ears. The venue isn't suitable for this kind of a music, and none of these instruments sound the way they should. The cacophony sets you on edge. A group of a few dozen patrons are tightly packed together, and the smell of their sweat and youthful, excited blood overwhelms you momentarily. It's with some difficulty that you turn to the task at hand. I need to feed! You've heard your share about the Anarchs and how they fit into kindred politics, but you only have your short encounter in Corner Park, on which you base your actual opinion of the faction. That might have been just a horrible first impression, but you're keeping your guard up just in case. Yeah, feeding. First things first, the atmosphere of the space is distracting you, with the beast nagging to be fed. If you were to put your best foot forward, you'd best get that need out of the way, temporarily. The place brims with opportunities. You decide it might be easiest to just grab a somewhat drunk concert goer that strikes your fancy and see whether they'd be willing to indulge you. Sure enough, you chat up a tipsy patron and hit it off quickly, augmenting your charm with the power of your blood in the interest of time. You don't catch her name. She's been waiting for her boyfriend, but he hasn't shown. She was pretty much ready to dump him anyway, so hey, here's new beginnings. Another vodka shot disappears down her throat. She kisses you on the mouth. It's super sloppy, and the alcohol in her breath is overbearing. You take your chance and kiss her neck, then bite down. Yeah, her evening's drinking definitely colors the way her blood tastes. Alcohol and melancholy, not a combo you're unfamiliar with. Somebody smacks you on the head and rips you off the girl just as you lick the wounds closed. He throws it to the ground. Ooh, it's the boyfriend. The argument they get into as your victim seemingly immediately sobers up gives you the chance to mix in with the now dispersing crowd. The concert is over. A hand on your shoulder, you instinctively tense up and prepare to dodge a punch. Instead, you come face to face with a lanky woman in a jacket 2 sizes too big for her frame. Follow me behind the bar, Lick. I've got a few questions, and you'd better give me snappy answers if you know what's good to you. She leads you through the bar to a back door that leads into a side room. Indie metal band posters and are plastered on every wall, some of them 20 or more years old, judging from the tour dates. An old sticky table and some rickety chairs are the only pieces of furniture here. Sit down. Sure. You take a seat as the woman leans against one of the walls. Name's Mia. I'm guessing your visit here isn't a happy coincidence. I don't know you, so you're either new in New York or kept an outstandingly low profile, above some suspect. So before we take these pleasantries further, answer me this. Who do you run with? Camarilla, but I'm looking to switch. That's good. Camarilla, I guess, but I'm looking to switch. Is that so? She looks you up and down. It's hard to read her. Okay, sure, I'll bite. But let's get one thing out of the way. She leans in. If this is some clever ploy to oust me from my domain, or if you're just here to spy on me and the movement, I'll make sure that you don't enjoy Undeath much longer. Got it? You can tell it's purely a rhetorical question. Right, here's the pitch. The Camarilla like to think they're the vanilla option, with the Prince Bitch Panhard pretending that they were always in charge, but New York has never been a fully Cami city. They might have won the city in '99, but Cams have had their asses handed to them many times over the years, and the movement has been here at least as long as they have. Hell, I moved to New York City before World War II, and that was a good while after I saw the Camarilla for what they are, a way to keep us all subservient and in line. The Ivory Tower will tell you they're the only safeguard for the traditions, and that's the kind of a problem. There's only one tradition we in the movement feel should be respected, the masquerade, obviously. Everything else? Ask the prince and she'll tell you it's the logical continuation of the masquerade, but really, it's just a way to keep the elders powerful and in control. She grimaces. But here's the thing. For all the talk of us bloodsuckers being solitary creatures, we need a community to keep up the masquerade. Community, yes, but authority, not so much. We need a council of peers to keep the assholes and power-drunk fledglings in check, but not a feudal prince to tell us where to feed or who to hand down when they step on her toes. She takes a brief break from her indignant rant. So you Anarchs don't have a ruler? A ruler? No, but leaders, sure, must follow old boss Callahan's lead. Most, but not you. You make it sound like it's most, but not you. Yeah, not me. If you're concerned about being well received in the city, you might need to go for Callahan, but if you're serious about the Anarch cause itself, he's not your guy. Callahan eats up fledglings like you and shits out self-preservation. His position as Baron is mighty shaky now, and not least due to the fact that he's backstabbed more than his share of allies. I see. Baron, at its most basic, is a strong Anarch who controls territory and wields authority over those living in it. One of the most common types of Barons is a Lick who has a city, neighborhood, or even just a building. The other common type is a Baron who attempts to control an entire city on his own. A local strongman. He behaves suspiciously like a Camarilla prince. I mean, yes and no. I would actually disagree that this is the... I mean, okay. It is very often the truth that barons get power hungry and act like Camarilla princes. But on paper, what barons should do is be just a representative and diplomatic kind of a, person within the Anarch movement. Someone that everyone trusts. Maybe not everyone because it's impossible in the world of darkness, but someone generally respected within the Anarch movement that is given this representative kind of a role and just solve some issues within the movement. So like let's say Isaac in Hollywood from Bloodlines 1, he was majorly respected by peeps around, and then Nines, if he would like to take a position of the Baron, which he never wanted to, he would be also just respected and he would be this representative of everyone. So it's it's a little bit of a weird ground where they don't want to be called princes, but they often act this way, but then they shouldn't. So yeah, Anarchs, complicated. Callahan, it's up. Okay, we read that up. So he's doing what any other old fart in his position of a power would do. He's doubling down. Negotiations are out. Intimidation is in. Tightening ranks as a precaution against the Second Inquisition. She surprises you by hacking and spitting on the ground in disgust. If you've spent more time with the camps, that should sound very familiar to you. He's no better than Panhard and her cronies are at this point. Nah, you need to contact Torque. And wouldn't you know it, it's your lucky night because I'm the league to do it through. Why Torque? Because he's one of the good guys, or at least as good as we leeches can be. Turk is a leader, a local baron who's overseeing a small domain, but doing a very good job of it. Callahan knows it, so he's giving him shit. Turk is taking it like a champ. He's smart like that. For one of us rebels, he's got the patience of a saint, so he's a bruja as well. Makes you think back to how things used to be way back when, if the stories are to be believed. True bruja! Anyway. You want to meet him? I'm gonna require a show of goodwill first. So yeah, it's actually funny, because true bruja, the old bruja, as much as the current bruja are known of their short temper, the old bruja were known of the lack of temper at all. They were these bruja that had like no emotions whatsoever, so they would be very hard to tilt, but also very hard to actually cause any more positive feelings inside of them. So yeah, that's the difference between the bruja and true bruja. And also there are more. If you want to know more about them, I did the bruja video about the clan and its history, so you can check it out. What do you have in mind? She flashes you a mischievous half smile. I appreciate your readiness, but I don't have the details just now. Ask for me at the bar when you're able. I'll leave something for you and we'll take it from there. Now come on, I gotta go. She walks you out from the bar and you go separate ways. Seems like there's nothing more to do than return here later and see if Mia really can help you contact Torque. Nice! Alright, so we are meddling with the Anarchs, and they seem to have also some internal conflicts in the city. That's interesting. So Camarilla has an issue with Thinbloods, and Anarchs have an issue with too many barons at once. Interesting for sure. So guys, let me know how you like this episode, and remember, don't get lost in the night. We are going to visit some more people next time.